What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. Thank you so much for always tuning in. First and foremost, we have an exciting one today. We have Mr. Nick Regina, who's the owner of Spark Financial. It's a amazing mortgage brokerage, and what Nick has done in his life, he's just an entrepreneur in general. The guy's just crushing it. Came from the nightlife industry, has owned clubs, restaurants, everything you can name. Has now stepped into the real estate world. He's an investor as well. Just an overall smart guy. So just the nuggets and bombs he's dropping are just amazing and super valuable for everyone. So hope you guys enjoy that. And oh my God, what? These hats? Wow. Look at that. So if you guys haven't checked out these bad boys, these are available on our website, pricetosellpodcast.com. All our merch is there. So the white hats, the red, the caps. We have the white and black t-shirts, the white and black sweaters, because it is cold outside, so you want to stay cozy. Also check out our Field Trips channel if you haven't already for some amazing house tours. Other than that, let's get into the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And today we are here with a very good friend of mine, one of these owners of CEO Spark Financial Group. Sir. Making waves, making movements in the real estate industry in general. You're going to learn a lot today, my friends. You're going to learn a lot in all avenues of life. We have Mr. Nick Regina in the building. Yes. Nick, welcome.
Appreciate it, man. That's an awesome intro, and I'm honored to be here. I wanted to start off by saying, I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity. This is my first podcast feature,
actually.
And
let's rock it.
And I mean, what better than to start with the Price to Sell, man? You're absolutely ripping it with this Potter, and love everything you guys are doing. The guests that you have on here are amazing. They're rock stars. So I feel very, very grateful to be sitting in this seat. So thank you for the opportunity, man.
Yeah, and one thing to mention too, Nick. So first time being, I guess, a guest.
Yeah.
But Nick is a host of What Would It Cost? Podcast. Yeah. Currently been picked up by TLN.
Yeah.
And I have the pleasure of coming on to that soon.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So he understands the podcast role. He understands marketing. The guy's just a genius and all in all. But let's get into, so I'll sum it up quickly. Then I want to get into Nick's story because it's, his background is super interesting. Spark Financial Group. You guys, all things lending, mortgages, financing.
Yeah.
But you guys are it's a much different approach to things I'm used to. And I think that comes from your hospitality background. So the way you're approaching other realtors and building the relationships and the entire machine you built, super inspiring. And I talk about this all the time because us as agents and mortgage brokers, the same thing. People forget to run a business. It's more just like, let me go and sell some homes. But it's still a business at the end of the day. And a lot of people forget how to run one or don't even know where to start. But I think you've mastered that with what you've built. Your office, the culture, the freaking, what do you call that thing?
The gong.
The gong. Why do you hit the gong?
The gong is the gong is there. And when everyone hears that in the office, they know they made money. We have a pool. And the pool is a net profit share pool. So essentially a percentage of every file that we close is allocated to the staff members all evenly. And every time a file closes, we hit that gong and everyone knows they're making money. So they're in their office, they're doing work. And it's just a nice feeling to hear in the background, to see one of your fellow associates just go up there and hit it. And it's like, all right, made a little bit more money. And we bonus them out at the end of the year with a check that they all get an even split on. That's awesome.
See, right there, and then it's that's one of the different pieces you bring to the puzzle. Let's get into who Nick is, like your background, when you got into the space, and we'll get into how you're really rocking it and making some waves. But prior to that, I think the background you come from speaks to what you're currently creating. So
yeah, for sure, man. I'd love to get into that. Born and raised Toronto, Dufferin and Sinclair boy. Shout out Sinclair. Still in the city as of right now. My roots. I'm an Italian background. Both mom and dad born there. Just really always loved putting people together, learning how to build business, and grew up. My father was an entrepreneur. and he was in the general contracting space in the construction industry. So in a nutshell, no point intended, there was years and years and years that I'd be in his passenger seat just listening to the way that he handled business and the way that he was moving and shaking on the job sites, be on all his job sites, be in the car with him, and just listen, just watch, just really admired the way he rocked. You know, my dad's my biggest hero, and anything he does is just, you know, he can't do wrong, man. So I really followed in his footsteps. And yeah, seen the way he handled himself and the way he grew his business, and I liked a lot of it, you know, on how he did that. And obviously I put my personal touch and spin on things, and seen, you know, had to really adjust and fine tune based on what industry I would inject my businesses into, right, to cater to that climate, right. But yeah, man, I gotta tip my hat to my pops, and definitely let everyone know that he's been my biggest inspiration to be an entrepreneur.
Shout out, pops.
Yeah. But yeah, I did out of high school. Didn't really jive too much with the schooling curricular and system, and just didn't do much for me. You know, I was never one that really scored high grades, or one that really was able to pay attention and sit still in class and really give it my all. It was something that I didn't take to, you know. And that's where, you know, it was like, okay, if I'm gonna go to work straight out of high school, you know, I'm gonna put my head down, I'm gonna concentrate on whatever it is that I do, and I'm gonna give it my all. And pour my heart and soul into it, and just fall in love with it. So always had like a really, really, really solid work ethic, and that's something that my parents said, okay, well, if school's not the route for you, then you're most definitely gonna have to go to work, and you're gonna have to go hard with that, right? So started off in the trades as an electrician.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, before that, I was again working for my father for 6 years. On the job sites and in his mill workshop, you know, so around that construction industry in a big way. And then I wanted it to be that he was my father and he wasn't my boss. And I told him that one day. I said, you know, I don't want to take homework with us. I don't want to take the work home with us at the dinner table, and just have it be that our relationship is all work. Like, I love you as a dad, and I just want you as a dad, you know? And there was, you know, he had a pretty big company, and he was doing well, and I was supposed to be the heir to that, and to take it over, and I was being groomed for it. But it just that love and that relationship that I wanted with him was way more important than anything money can buy, you know, or any dollar sign. So yeah, that's when I went out on my own, and I hooked up, and I always liked the electrical trade. There's a couple of cool guys all the time on my dad's job sites that he used to sub the electrical to, and I hit it off with them when I was there as the general laborer. So I hopped on with them. They were more than willing to take me on. They seen that I was a pretty good worker, and I went hard every day. So yeah, went on to be an electrician, and then from there, I was always busboying and bar backing for a small restaurant and off of the annex there. And I was so passionate about the nightlife stuff, right? And just fell in love with it in a big way. So I moved my way from busboy to bartender, and then started my own promotion company, which was called NRG. And that, you know, at the time when I was doing electrical, NRG was just really taking off. And I think not only because I worked as hard on that I did, you know, the electrical and the trade side, but just I was so passionate about it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't go to sleep. I'd always want to do something for NRG, you know. And we built like a really, really big team. And the culture was awesome. The energy was sick.
Literally.
And yeah. And it took off. So I was faced with the decision, you know, to either continue on with the trades, which I was in my 4th year of apprenticeship as an electrician, or take the nightlife and hospitality route and just go off on my own and start the entrepreneurial journey. Because at the time, as an electrician, obviously I was working for someone. So yeah, I remember sitting, me and my brother always slept together. We always had the same room growing up all the way until we moved out. And I remember sitting in bed one night just being like, man, I was putting like 18, 19 hours on the clock every day between electrical and side jobs and the promoting and stuff. And it was just like, man, like what I really love what I'm doing, you know, like, but I'm going to leave like the trades and I'm a 4th-year apprentice. It's a safe job. And it's,
How old are you at the time?
You know, at the time I was 21.
Yeah. So at that time, it's like, you know, most people are doing that. So it's like, why I'm about to remove myself from the norm, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I know.
Yeah. Because I went fresh out of high school, I was going to be a licensed tradesman pretty young. And like I was pretty good at it. Right. So it was like, you're going to leave that kind of thing. Like that was what was in my head. And I remember, and he's like, what do you want to do? Like if money didn't matter, what would you want to do? I said, NRG, man, nightlife and hospitality. That's where my heart's at. He's like, then go for it, bro.
Yeah.
And my brother's always like, he's so safe and conservative, and he's always just takes his time with things and makes the right calls. You know, I watched him do that his whole life. So for him to say that, it meant a lot to me, you know? And I remember looking up the ceiling and I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. So ended up making the jump. Long story short, we rocked it with the nightlife. It wasn't too long after that we started buying nightclubs and operating them along with promoting them and some big scale events. We were doing the Countdown, Liberty Grand, New Year's. That was our party for 8 years in a row. Monster Mash there with Massimo and the Lime team, NRG and Lime came together to do some awesome things. At any point in time, we had 50 to 60 active promoters that were pumping volume to fill the two nightclubs we had on King West at one point and 2 down in Miami, and just like really balancing that whole portfolio from an operation standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, from a promotion standpoint, from, you know, just there was a lot of moving parts.
You learn a lot.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts with that.
How many employees did you have at the time?
I think at the time we were over 100 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, between all 4 nightclubs, the event staff, the promoters, the nightlife managers, bar backs, bus boys, bartenders, bottle service girls. You know, it's just, But I think at one point we were at around 120.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and me and my partner looked at each other and we're like, whew. You know what I mean? Like, this is wild. So, we rocked out. I mean, again, you know, like in a very, very, very abbreviated version, we rocked out. We did really well. We built a solid portfolio. 9-time award-winning promoting company, NRG. We never lost in the Toronto Nightclub Awards.
Yeah, I remember the name.
Yeah, and then 3-time nightclub owner of the year awards, and we went out on top. Like the way we retired, we went out on top. So we never lost the throne, I guess, right? Which was cool. And which was what we had set out to do. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But big transition came when I became a father. Right. I'm a father of 3. I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old. So we're busy at home. My wife's an absolute rock star. Shout out Sophie. Love you so much.
Shout out Sophie.
And I couldn't do what I'm doing without you. But yeah, so it was either I want to be a really like sick dad, or I want to be, you know, someone that's just consumed by my business. And it wouldn't, I shouldn't say it like that. It's just priority was I wanted to be the sickest dad. Like I want to be the sickest dad that I could be. Right. Yeah. And that schedule and that lifestyle would not allow me to be the best that I could be for my kids. I knew that. So it would take away from that. So that was a no-brainer that I had to get out of that industry, because given its schedule and given how big the portfolio was, it consumed me, right? So transitioned out. My exit strategy was in 2019 from nightlife to the brokering side of things. And it was about a full year of a transition, just because I was majority equity partner in most of the projects under the portfolio and very hands-on with everything. So when I was leaving, it wasn't like my partners wanted me to leave. It was me making that decision. So I left very gracefully and gave it that time period so other people could take the positions they had to, so that when I left, it was seamless, as seamless as can be. Yeah, so it was about a year out, and then 2020, that was like, you know, full steam ahead with the mortgage business.
Good timing, eh?
Oh, yeah, you know. Thank you, God.
Crazy timing.
It was great timing. It was great timing. And, you know, those boys who made it through, like shout out all the guys in nightlife and all the rock stars that I was hammering workout with that made it through the pandemic, and they came out swinging and are doing what they're doing right now. Oh, yeah. Man, I tip my hat to all those boys. Those guys are fighters. The perseverance that they showed and the consistency and strength to power through what they powered through to come out on the other end and to be rocking right now. Shout out all my boys in nightlife, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, then essentially through all that and all the moving parts that we had going on and all the lessons that I had learned throughout the way, I'm just applying that to building out Spark Financial Group, right? And I'm doing it with my partner, Michael Sakuro, who's an absolute rock star. He's a rock, and was in the nightlife business with me and chose to make the jump into the brokering space.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the backbone, man. And me and him are 50-50 on everything, and we go hard, and I know he's got my back and I got his, and we act like a two-headed dragon.
Yeah.
And he's just great. So between me and him, what we've done is combined our experience, because he comes from an institutional background and was in the banks for a lot of years, and so is a lot of our team that he's brought over from one of the banks that they used to work at. There's a lot of institutional experience within Spark Financial, as there should be, because we got to be doing right by people in their files and their mortgage transactions. So yeah, he brings the institutional piece, and I'm doing a lot of the business development, and together we're just a good team, man. And what we've been able to create, we're happy with, and we're feeling really, really energetic about. But I blame my team for all the success that we have. I blame them in the best way possible. My underwriting division, my marketing division, my operations division, and the way that we're scaling is only possible because of my team, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, yeah. I love it. Like that whole background. Did you realize like what it would do for you in switching? Like having all that experience, having 120 employees, managing all those different, sections of a business.
Yeah.
And did you realize how effective that would be when you transition into the mortgage space?
No, I didn't, because that was like my first entrepreneurial stint and gig was then, and I did it for 11 years, but I had never applied my skills to any other sector or industry. It was just nightlife and hospitality. So my ass was shaking. Like I was a little scared, but what helped me overcome that was I got 3 little mouths to feed at home.
Yeah.
So it's like the way I'd walk out of my doors during the day, like I'd have a set of balls on me, because I'll do whatever I got to do for them and my wife, So it didn't scare me in that regard, right? That whatever I had to do, I'd do it to get it done. It scared me in the regard, like, am I going to be able to crack this financial world? Am I going to be able to come into it and do what I did for the prior industry, right? But yeah, man, just again, hard work and my team, in a big way, we've been able to accomplish what we set out for, and we got international vision. So I mean, we're not anywhere even close to of getting started, in our opinions. Right?
Yeah. And we'll touch on that after too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mentioned before, I came to a presentation at your office, and I just, because I'm in the stage right now, and this can speak to like our audience is vast, but like, majority is real estate agents, and this relates to everything, because I'm in that process right now of trying to build. I have no business background. I came from, I barbered by myself. I studied history. That's it. Never hired anybody. This year I hired my first assistant, Right
on, bro. Let's go.
But the whole like building out a team and all that, so seeing people like yourself and what you built is super inspiring. So for people out there who have no idea where to start, like what would you say are some steps to building like a really good culture, a machine, a system? Like what are some steps people should take to get in the right direction? Yeah,
for sure. So I would say that, go into whatever it is you're doing with love. Go in with love, right? Because at our core, it's the most beautiful thing, and it's what we're all made up out of. So go into whatever it is you're doing with love and good intentions, and to want to do right by, not only your pockets, but everyone that's going to be a part of this journey, and then really take a look at, who it is that you admire, who it is that you idolize, who it is that, has really taken the sector and more specific, the industry that you're going into by storm. Because whatever they're doing it right? And not even that you have to bring, the innovative side to it, and be cutting edge with everything you do, but more so, or even reinvent the wheel. Just look at what all the pros and the top dogs are doing and put your own spin on it and bring that love that you have to bring to the world to the table when growing that business out, right? And all these guys are putting out so many good videos on YouTube and on Instagram and on all these platforms that you can get so much information from so quickly, and they just cut right to the point and they just give it to you, right? But yeah, never put I never like to put the cart before the horse. Before we took on any mortgage transaction, we were in a year of development. And the year of development was, even though our course is 1 week to get your brokering license, we wanted to further educate ourselves. Even though that we could have launched it with, just some half-ass, page on social media, we developed a full campaign with an agency that we spent a lot of time and money with, going deep with. Even though we could have, maybe got off the ground with 1 or 2 realtor contacts that we were really, really close with, we took our time to really understand what was within our reach as far as network goes to introduce them to, this is what we're doing. So never put the cart before the horse too. Take your time, no matter how big you set those goals, you can always set them bigger and do that, but make sure that you build out those steps in between, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, just fall in love with it. Fall in love with it and know that, whatever you put your mind to, you could do. Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you've done it.
We're doing it.
We're doing
it. The team.
Yeah, you're doing it.
We're doing it.
And you guys are, I applaud you on the socials too.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're build a community.
Yeah.
I'm a part of it as well. What would be some things you've learned about the power of social media that you're now like taking advantage of? Or let's say when you started, if you knew this knowledge now, you would apply it right away. Like, what are some things you've learned with the power of socials? Yeah. Considering you guys are consistently posting all the time, growing at a quick rate, business is growing, like you're hitting all the different angles,
Yeah, for sure. Well, first I got to shout out Joseph Tito, who is my chief marketing officer, and my production manager, David Vielle. Those guys are the all-stars that head off the division of marketing and advertisement for Spark Financial Group. So again, can't take blame for that. Got to put it on them. But obviously, I'm a big part in that, and going through what I go through on a day-to-day with them in regards to strategy and in regards to what's next and how to tweak things, fine-tune them, and make them better. But I mean, social media is so powerful, and the more and more that we continue to rock down that path and really look at how we can get better, the more and more success that we're having with the brokerage. I mean, it's so easy to gauge the ROI with it. The way that we're set up, we have a CRM system called Monday.com, and the way that we categorize everything and where the leads are coming in from, whether it's a referral source or a random person that hits up an application on the website, it's brilliant. The ROI is there all day long. Authenticity crushes it. It's a known stat. Actually, I was at the Archangel event last month with Zarky. Shout out Zarky, man. We're probably going to talk a lot more about him later.
Shout out Zarky.
Yeah, but they were saying that now statistically, authentic content, non-produced content, is 50% more effective than produced content.
Interesting.
So like when the camera's shaking and the quality isn't the best, and there's not this big setup where people like can kind of look at it and be like, this is somewhat of an ad, or they're trying to sell me something and there's an end game here that's, they're driven through incentives. Just total authentic, people relate with that 50% more.
Interesting.
Yeah. And right when my CMO came into Spark, he's like, yo, we got to change this strategy up, man. Like and he just started putting the cameras in our faces, and we were like, whoa.
It's just like iPhone content.
How does that look? Or like, what's going on? What did I say? Or did I trip out over there? And it was just like, no, don't think of it like that. Get outside of your head, drown out the thoughts and concerns and judgment of others, and just do you on a camera. You're going to suck at the beginning, and then you're going to get better with it at time, and then have fun with it and be your authentic self, because that's what's relatable. That's what's relatable with people. So which turns itself back into the conversation in regards to ROI. That's where you're going to get the ROI from, just being you.
Yeah.
And you're never, shout out Kate Broderick too. She was on the WWIC podcast, the first one with your girl, Marina, right? And she had brought up such an awesome point. She's like, you're never going to impress everyone. You're never going to cater to everyone. You're going to cater to a niche, and that niche is going to love you for who you are. And then everyone else is just not going to love you as much, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't just drown those thoughts out, right? Get that out of your head. And
Yeah.
just go for it. Just be you, man.
Yeah.
Just be you, right? Yeah.
That's an interesting stat. Because
Yeah.
I am high level production, you know?
Yeah.
I will, pick the setting. I got my, whatever it is I'm filming that day, but always coming out with like high level, edited sick, edited subtitles, all that stuff. But I noticed, like, especially like on platforms like TikTok, it's like someone, selfie camera, says something, whatever, bang, million views, So it's interesting that that's actually like a stat now, 50% more engaging. Interesting. I'm taking note.
Yeah. No, I know.
I just fired all my videographers right now. I'm kidding.
Sorry, guys.
Totally kidding.
Yeah.
Dean, we're still friends.
Yeah. No, Dean's too cool. Dean's not going anywhere.
But with and now back to like this whole machine you've built, because again, it's super inspiring. Like, you're doing it right.
Thank you.
So I mean, like, I want people to learn from this, because like,
Yeah.
you can talk to many different people and like get pieces from each of them, but like, you're doing it all right. So how important is it to hire the right individuals to outsource your weaknesses to people and have them focusing on their strengths, and because people are scared of, shit, I got to pay a salary, or now I got to take out of my pie and now hire someone. Like, people don't even want to do that. Right. How important is that though?
It's crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial. It's a defining factor that's going to really, be able to tell how it is you grow, right? And if you want to grow exponentially, and you're taking a look at, taking on a big piece of the market share for whatever market you're in, right? You need to hire the experts to do what they're good at doing. I say it all the time, right? There is no cheaping out when it comes to that, and you have to respect and embrace one's strengths. And whatever that person's strengths are, you got to almost mold your business model and concept around them, because that's when you see them kick some serious ass and take off, and that's when they become passionate about it, right? Is when they're able to do what they're just really good at doing and get paid really good for it. I'll pay 10-15% easily, and sometimes even more, over what the standard salary is for that specific position, just because I see the value in it all day long.
Yeah.
And I like my bottom line. I know that I'm running efficient, and I know that that's somewhere that, that's something that I can do and I can allocate, and I'd be more than happy doing that, because with that, you're really picking out the best people, and the best people aren't cheap, right?
Yeah.
And the best people want to be respected, not only with being brought into a sick community and an awesome culture, but they want to have it. They want to feel it in their pockets too, right?
Yeah.
And things like the net profit share pool that I have, right? And other incentives where you can make partner within my firm as I'm growing, and I have international vision, where our first expansion is to Fort Lauderdale. We cut the ribbon on February 11th, and then we're going to be moving into Texas. Why? What's the 5th?
My birthday.
Okay, right.
Yeah, just switch that up.
We might have to adjust that date.
Tell the team if you don't mind. We're cutting on the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be there.
Yeah. And man, like, it's just like when you have that kind of, when those expansion ideas, and when you want to take on, that much, like, you need to build out strategic partnerships that keep people incentivized, that keep people fired up, just the way that you're fired up. And what fires you up is what's going to fire everyone else up. So there's people that have made partner in my firm for the Fort Lauderdale location, right? Yeah. That, have showed that they wanted it bad enough, that showed that they were really, willing to work for it and do whatever it took. And let's go. You know what I mean? I love it. Love making people partners. Did that a lot in nightlife too. Yeah. A lot of my partners in the nightclubs, like, they were other guys that put in years and years of work for me that worked out really well. Not only would I pay them good, but it's like, all right, I'm gonna offer you up some partnership here, right? And they just get that much more fired up, just like you would, just like I would, right? So it's to keep them incentivized, to start them off with overpaying them if they're really good at what they do, and then continue to let them know, listen, there's no ceiling here, right? Yeah. Bring in deals. You hear that gong going off a little bit more. Yeah. You see all the states that we're traveling to, and all the ideas and concepts that are being drawn on the board. show me and tell me that you want a piece of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So always keeping them incentivized and making sure to pay the experts to do what they're good at doing, right? Because we can't do it all, man.
Yeah.
We can't do we cannot do it all.
No, we cannot.
Right? Yeah, jack of all trades or master of one kind
Exactly.
of thing, right? So imagine if you had the master of each one and scaled out each division accordingly with all the masters in that division. You're building an all-star team.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
And for someone, let's say, who has like a tighter budget, let's say they themselves, they just started out.
Yeah.
And maybe they can't put someone on a salary right off the bat.
Yeah.
But they still want to acquire some people and bring some people to the table. What would be some strategies for them?
Yeah, well, first, dive deep in every division and understand it very well, right? And get the wheels turning, right? Get the wheels turning, get some cash flow within that business, start moving and shaking, start gaining your confidence. And this is all, it works part and parcel with bringing on your first employee. You need to gain that confidence. You need to have some cash flow. You need to understand, not be the master, but understand all aspects and divisions of the business before you were to bring someone on to say, hey, this is your role, and here's some processes that I've built out. Here's some systems. Here's how we're going to work together, and here's what we're going to do, right? So there's and whatever that time period looks like for anyone, it's all different, right? But yeah, first be able to get the wheels turning before you do that, right? Yeah, figure it out yourself before you bring someone into the mix and try to figure it out with them while you have them on payroll, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They'll probably leave you too.
Yeah, well, they'll feel like they should be partners before an employee.
Yeah,
if they try
exactly.
to figure it out with you, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And then for people listening, like if you just go check them out too, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's one of those things you have to experience it. And I've experienced it and pretty blown away by it. So
thank you.
It's
man.
awesome.
That means so much to us. The fact that you've said that so many times and like it means so much to us too. Because I know you're an absolute rock star and titan in the business, and we admire what you do. We love what you do. You've been an inspiration for us in regards to aspects of the business that we're like, we got to bring up our game with that, right?
Yeah.
So it means a lot coming from you.
And that's what it's all about, collaboration. Even though Nick's put me in a little bit of uncomfortable situations sometimes, still respect the guy. Still awesome. So if you could tune into my episode of What Would It Cost to hear that story, or stories actually.
Yeah.
But let's get into we're nearing the end here.
Yep.
But I want to get into some juicy stuff because we're in a climate, and you're a smart guy. You see all these different. You work at a lot of high net worth people who just know what to do in times like this, right? Because there's the scared demographic who hear the news, hear the psychology, hear like, oh my God, everything's economy, things are coming down, interest rates are going up. What do I do? And you have the guys who have been through these cycles or have a little bit more of the guts to take advantage of what's going on, right? So first, let's talk about the rates and maybe what your forecast is. No one really knows for sure, but on the financial side, what are you seeing that are some big indicators of, kind of maybe where the market is headed? On your end.
So first off, I want to say it that watch with all the fear-mongering news and even the super optimistic news. Do your own research. Look at different media outlets, read different blogs, follow different experts in the market, and put together the information that from all these experts. And first off, do your own analysis, right? Before you listen to someone speak and take it like gospel, do your own analysis, right? Because that's just like the sheep following the herd, right? And we don't know if that lead sheep's going to jump off a cliff. So do you want to jump off that cliff kind of vibe? It's like, do your own research, right? First off. Second off, whenever you're looking at times that are a little bit more rocky or the market's really, really volatile and the climate is what it is, you have to understand that there's opportunity in those times, right? That's where the most opportunity comes from, right? So a lot of the investors and the people that have been savvy with their finances and that have saved up money, they've been stacking their chips because they watched the market climb in a really aggressive manner and understood that as rates staying this low, if rates they stay this low, it's going to drive it up. But whatever goes up must come right back down, right? And not to say that the 100-year linear graph for real estate isn't looking like this, right? And that you're not good if you hold, right? Because in my opinion, you're always good if you're hold, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a supply and demand issue already,
Yeah.
right? And as a world-class city that we are, we're becoming more and more and more dense. We tripled up on population in the next 3 years, right? And, there's already a shortage in the housing market. So what does that do? It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Wherever there's a supply and demand issue, prices hike, right? So long term, if you hold, you're always good. But yeah, if you're looking at it from a standpoint where to go back to the opportunity and the things, if the market's cooled down and it's dropped 20, 25, 30, 35%, depending on which area you're in, right? That brings on so much more opportunity to get into the market at finally what's a fair price, right? Compared to what it's been the last 2-3 years. So if you're looking at $1 million asset, imagine that $1 million house being, $800,000 now or $750K, right? It's a lot more on the downstroke. So if you're putting 20% down, and you got to put 20% down on 800,000, which is 160 compared to, 200,000 on $1 million bucks. That's a big chunk of change, right? So it's a little bit less of a commitment to get into the market. So that, in my opinion, compensates for the rates in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
And keeps it so that what that monthly payment would be is somewhat relevant if you're with any A or B or private lender, because the breaking in price, right? So yeah, I mean, and always the best lessons that I've learned are from putting myself in uncomfortable positions, making the wrong choices, failing, and then from failing, understanding not to do that again. So if it's something where you hit a wall with this, well, again, right, take a step back, understand the mistakes you made, take accountability, and put together a game plan on how you're going to move forward from this and not make the same mistakes that you made, the first time around, kind of thing, right? So I like to look at things through an optimistic lens, and without getting too technical with numbers and rates and, forecasts and whatnot, in a general picture, that's how I would paint it, right? Kind of thing.
No, I think you're bang on.
Yeah.
Even I was scrolling through my phone because I was pulling up some stats. Like, you got to zoom out, people are reading headlines and not reading the article, and it's like, oh my God, everything shit's hitting the fan, or how's the prices are gonna plummet the X amount. I'm like, where'd you read that? But it comes down to, like you said, there's always like that supply demand, and it's saying like from 2019 to 2046, 44 million new immigrants are projected to settle in Ontario alone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We're already behind in terms of the housing available for our current population.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's not like the population is going to stop growing.
Yeah. Clearly
Clearly going to continue to grow.
Right.
So we're always going to have that supply demand issue. Right now, it's
100%.
just, it's the media, it's psychology, it's all these things. But take advantage of that, because there's a slowdown. And when you find an opportunity out there, like, these rates are affecting some people in like variables and stuff like that, who may not be able to now afford their home, unfortunately. Stuff like that does happen. But there's opportunity. So instead of waiting on the sideline, and then as soon as news gets positive, and then everyone's like, okay, now I'm going to go buy a house, so is everyone else, and that's when the bidding wars start again. Yeah. That's when the prices start to drive back up. Yeah. So you got to roll in the opposite direction of everyone else. Yeah. If you want to succeed.
100%. And even if you just to talk about those people that are in that position, right? If you are, there's a lot of financial solutions, that any good broker can help you out with in regards to lines of credits and in regards to, loans, in regards to things that can provide a cushion for you to make you feel a lot better and have it be that you build up a little reserve as you get through these times, right? And again, take from the lesson that you shouldn't over leverage yourself and you shouldn't put yourself in that predicament. Is essentially you're gambling, right? Yeah. And with your own house, where the roof is over your head and where you sleep at night and where you feed your kids, where you're raising a family, it's not the smartest thing to do, and we all make mistakes, but again, take from that, learn from it, work with a financial pro that's going to be able to set some game plans and put some game plans into action for you, create that cushion, get through the tough times, learn from your mistakes, put a game plan together, and go get it. You know what I mean? Because,
I know a lot of people with cash right now are big into like the privates and the lending.
Huge.
Do you feel like that's picked up now?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
The institutions have all tightened up in a big way. They're going really low on the loan to values, and the appraisals are coming back dirt cheap, which is putting the buyers in a really bad position, or even the homeowners in a bad position that own the asset and want to do a refi. And that's where the private guys are coming in now in a big way. Lots of money moving into that market. It's a great investment if you've asked me. I've been a private lender myself for years. And even before me being in the business, because the asset is solid. It's real estate, it's brick and mortar, right? The yield
this
rate.
is fake, by the way.
Oh, is it?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
It's completely real.
You would crack a joke like that. Oops.
Don't break it, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and
continue.
then the yield is awesome, right? Like you're starting at 8-9 points in first position.
Yeah.
Right now, right? That's what it's going for. Because as the institutional rates rise, so do the private rates, right?
Yeah.
So what you were seeing through a real low rate when the banks were putting out, the high ones or the low twos, privates were at like 6.99 or 5.99 with some of the bigger MICs, right? But when those rates raise, that the private market follows. So you're starting off at like 9.10 right now for a first all day long, plus your fees, right? And these are 1-year deals. This is an annual return.
Yep.
So imagine being able to make 11, 12, 13, and it can even hike up % on your money annually. Interest, these are interest-only payments, right? So as an investor, that's all net in your pocket. And it's not an intense business. It's passive income.
Yeah.
You're not maintaining a property. You're not dealing with any headaches, really. They give you 12 post-dated checks. You deposit those checks in on the first of the month. That's all your profit. And then at the end of the year, you're giving your full lump sum back. It's become a really, really popular way of investing and still wanting to, keep it safe and feel good about what you're investing in, Yeah,
I think it's smart. Like, that's why I was excited to have you on, because of these different avenues. Like, if people are scared to buy real estate right now, your money's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, you still put it to work in other ways you can capitalize on so many different avenues.
Yeah.
But it's good you need that advice. You need the proper guidance too, right? Like, if you talk to the right people, listen to podcasts like this, like you can educate yourself and learn, like, oh, there's alternative ways out there versus waiting a chunk of years to save up for a down payment.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a house right now, like, lend out for a little bit. At least make 10 points on your money versus what is in the banks.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's what all the rich people do. That's how they build real wealth. They put their money to work for them.
Yeah.
Right. And they become really, really confident in whatever asset class they're investing in. But for me, I love real estate, man. I think it's safe, and I think it's solid. I think it's going to be around forever. Right. Yeah. And it's a great yield. Like, imagine people start up intense businesses and go hard day in, day out, and they're happy with a 15, 20% bottom line sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's good for them, right? Which is awesome. But if you're clipping 11, 12, 13% and you're not in intense business, you're just putting your money to work for you, you're almost right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you think about it that way, right? It's just like, whoa. Let's start to look at, time and appreciate, trying to be efficient.
Yeah.
And but to go to your point, no amount is too small too. Even if you got, a little chunk of change in the bank, let's get that in the market. Let's get you in a syndicated loan and let's get it, secured on a piece of real estate and start making you money, man. That's what the richest people do. They just put their money to work for them.
Yeah. Oh, smart. I love that. That's why I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
So we are at the end here.
Okay.
If you want to give a little bit of a shout out, speak to what's next for Spark.
Okay. Yeah.
I know you got the Fort Lauderdale thing, but if anyone, what's some new exciting stuff you guys got coming?
Yeah. Right now we have, again, we have international vision, so we want to take our talents worldwide. We're breaking in south of the border, starting in Lauderdale. Launch date just revised on this episode. It's February 5th now for your birthday.
Let's go.
And really, really excited about that. Imagine the whole country of Canada having that one state in Florida has the population of all of Canada, right? So just the density that's there, the way the Americans think, they're big thinkers. They want to move. It's just awesome, right? So and it's become so popular, especially through the pandemic too, to want to move down there because their governor's a rock star, the weather's dope, their nightlife and hospitality is through the roof with Grutman heading off stuff, right?
Yep.
And just what the yields are, the cap rates on Airbnbs. Like I can go on for days. But excited about moving into different marketplaces now and looking at just bringing what we've picking up what we've done and we think we got right and just planting it in these places, carving out strategic partnerships through a joint venture agreements and just rocking out worldwide, right? But never forgetting about treating the customer and the referral source with absolute white glove treatment. That's that's the most important thing. No matter how big we get, no matter how fast we're moving, we're making sure that we're doing it in a very tasteful manner, and we're making sure that whoever deals with us gets the right amount of attention, and all the touch points on that file or on that conversation is dealt with lots of love, lots of care, and we're doing right by the people. We're getting them in the proper products. We're awesome with our communication, and that's something that makes us really happy, right? But yeah, man, just continuing to grow the team. Right now, we got this really, really vibrant company culture, and again, part of the success, I blame it on that. It's just the energy inside those four walls is vibrant, and the team is just kicking ass. And that's something that a lot of new people want to become a part of, and that we're going to be taking in, and again doing it in a tasteful manner and with time. But yeah, really excited to continue up with that company culture too. It's
awesome, man.
Yeah,
and I can vouch for it.
Yeah.
You guys are sparking it up right now. Like that one?
Right on, right on.
Well, Nicholas, Nick.
Yeah.
Where can all your new fans find you?
Yeah, you can find me on social media at Nick Regina. You can check out our website at www.sparkfinancialgroup.ca. And more importantly, you can find me on a Price to Sell podcast. This is my first feature. So again, I want to end it off just saying thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dean. And thank you, the neighborhood crew and everyone involved with Price to Sell. This is such a big movement. This is gonna shock the globe. And I know what you guys are manifesting and what you're trying to do over here. And you're going to do it because those are the types of guys that you are, and you especially. You're going to do it. And I'm excited to have been featured on an episode, and I'm excited to see where this thing goes, man. So shout out PTS, the whole crew involved, and obviously this absolute rock star, Matty Campoli. You're a gem, brother, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, my man. We are also going international, as you guys have seen.
Yeah.
But people, hats are almost ready. Get your hats if you haven't already. They're coming out.
Yeah.
And to everyone that watches religiously, we love you. You guys are awesome. Please like, subscribe, share, send it to all your friends. Have them like, subscribe, share, help support. We are growing. We are, doing this out of our own resources to bring you guys the best value. But other than that, please, we'll see you guys on the next one. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, family, and your pet pumpkin. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.